Hi everybody, my name is Diane and I'm the creator of the Blush Scouts. I've been wanting to do this video for a while explaining the Blush Scouts, all the characters, how I started it, what I plan to do with it, but it's been taking me kind of a long time to get to where I'm at. So I wanted to make this video talking about myself and how I created this brand and the girls that you see on the screen. So my inspiration for the Blush Scouts came from my childhood love of Sailor Moon, Tokyo Mew Mew, Cardcaptor Sakura, a lot of these really fun magical girl shoujo anime and manga. Growing up, me and my cousins, we made our own little group inspired by Tokyo Mew Mew called the Musical Mew Mews, where we would just pretend that we had our own powers and we would do all of these musicals and songs and dances and everything. So I think this is where my inspiration really came from, the fact that I always really wanted to be a magical girl and that I wanted to have these really cute magical girl moments where we would have powers and dress up in really cute outfits and dresses and have a little sidekick and everything. So I wanted to build this world for myself. As someone who really loves fashion, I wanted to make the Blush Scouts really also fashion forward. When I was doing my initial renderings of everything, I wanted to make sure that their outfits matched the fruits that they were inspired by, but also had like a very cute magical girl inspiration to them. As I was building this brand, I also wanted to incorporate my love of fashion by actually putting them into designers that I really liked, like Dior, Vandy the Pink, Margiela. And I also wanted to make sure that the Blush Scouts loved food as much as I did. I mean, as you can tell, all the girls are inspired by fruits. So you're probably asking, why fruits? So I wanted to choose fruits that came from a tropical climate like Vietnam, and I came up with orange, starfruit, lychee, and mangosteen. So let's talk about all the girls. The Blush Scouts consist of Diho, Cam, Theen, Ngok, and Tung. Let's start with our main protagonist, Diho. So Diho is a self-insert. The name Diho comes from the nickname that my friends gave me and still continue to call me. So Diho doesn't come from a fruit, she's just the main protagonist in our story, and she's just a human on Earth. Unlike the other girls, she doesn't really have any magical capabilities or abilities or anything like that, but I think being human is what makes her very magical, especially to these girls who came from space. So some facts about Diho: her birthday is December 3rd, and she's a Sagittarius. She's a college student trying to figure out her way in life. She's a little lost, a little unmotivated, she's a little lonely, but she has a good heart, and she's trying to always find a way to better herself and help the people around her. Diho finds the fruit girls kind of randomly and surprisingly in her kitchen one day, but you can find out more of their story through my YouTube animation and also the comic that I'm coming out with. It's going to show the origin of the Blush Scouts, and I'm really excited for you guys to watch it and to read it. For Diho's look, I wanted it to be something that I could see myself wearing since it is kind of a self-insert character, and I really like wearing a lot of these academia outfits, so I gave her a little button up like this, a tie, a skirt, and I think the crazy part is that she's wearing Margiela tabbies, and that's actually one of the first tabbies that I bought for myself as a present, and I really love them. I wear them all the time, and so I kind of wanted to have her in those two. If I had to compare Diho to another character, she would kind of be like Usagi from Sailor Moon. Both her and Usagi both have very good hearts, but they can be a little bit lost at times, but it makes them so lovable because I feel like a lot of people can relate. They can relate to wanting to do everything they can for their friends, but also struggling with what they can do for themselves. In terms of making Diho's designs, I felt like it was probably the easiest one because it didn't have that very magical girl feel. She's not really in a magical girl transformation outfit, so it was pretty easy. It was just a skirt and a blouse and a tie and the shoes, and I felt like it was really cute. I also put the rest of the girls into academia outfits as well. So yeah, that's Diho. Let's talk about Gam from the Blush Scouts. Gam means orange in Vietnamese. Gam's birthday is May 5th and she's a Taurus. Gam is the most sassiest out of all the Blush Scouts. She has a really, really big fondness for food. She loves to bake for her friends, and she has trouble showing her love sometimes verbally. So she'll bake to show her love for the other girls. Gam is the most dedicated one out of the 5, and I guess that shows because she does like to bake, and I feel like baking requires a lot of dedication and a lot of attention to detail. So Gam was actually the first character I ever made, and it's funny because she came to me from a challenge that I was doing. It was one of those 30 days of drawing, 30 days of art, and the word of the day was orange. And at the time, I was making a lot of characters that were based off the word. So orange was one of those days, and I was making her. I was like, wait, this is really cute. I feel like it'd be really cool to make more fruit girls because I think that just the designs are so cute. Gam's design is probably one of my favorites just because I feel like she looks more like her fruit than the other characters look like their fruits. So for Gam's design, she's mostly orange and red with some hints of white, and she has like a high ponytail, and her dress is, I would almost describe it as like an orange peel if you just kind of like ripped it like terribly at the bottom. Under her dress to kind of like poof it up more are like orange slices too, which I think are really cool. I imagine that she would smell really good. Yeah, I think her design was probably my favorite because I don't know, it's just it just I feel like it resembles a fruit the most out of all the other ones. And I think she just has a special place in my heart because she is the first character that I designed out of the 5 of them. In terms of how difficult it was for me to make her design, I felt like it was fairly easy, especially and also fairly fast because I only had a couple of hours to make her design because of that 30-day challenge that I was doing. So I had to like kind of think of something really quickly. I have since then made some adjustments to her character, but not so much. I feel like the character design kind of stayed true from the beginning to now. With all the character designs, I wanted to make sure that there was a little bit of Vietnamese in them. And for Gam's outfit, I wanted to give her like a braided headband because it was very similar to what I would wear growing up for when I was wearing ao dais. So that's what she has. If I had to relate Gam to another character that you would kind of see in other forms of media, I would relate her to Rocket from Guardians of the Galaxy, because I feel like Rocket and Star-Lord, they always have rivalry towards each other in terms of who is the leader of the ship. Gam and Rocket, they both care deeply about their team, and they don't often really show it, but I think Rocket is a very like rebellious kind of character, and I feel like she's kind of similar to him in that aspect. Let's talk about Theen from the Blush Scouts. Theen means fairy in Vietnamese, and this character is a very silly one. She likes to pull pranks, she likes to be silly, she likes to go around and play pranks on everybody. Theen is actually based off lychee, and you can kind of see with her character, she has 2 big lychee buns on the side of her heads. Theen's birthday is July 24th, and she's a Leo. Theen is like the comic relief of the group. She's always cracking jokes, she likes to make everybody laugh, but she fights the hardest. Whenever there is a fight that is gonna go down, she is taking the lead. For the character Theen, she also has a big love of shoes. And the reason why she loves shoes so much is that she's always going outside, she's playing sports, she's just really exploring the earth as she's getting to know it. Shoes take you everywhere, right? You're always wearing shoes everywhere you go, and there's different shoes for every kind of activity that you need to do. So she found a love for shoes because of that. For Theen's character design, I wanted to give her a very sporty but kind of like fun, whimsical look. So again, she has these two large buns that look like lychee on the side of her head. She's wearing headphones, she's listening to music all the time. Her outfit is very light. It's something that is kind of girly, but it's also kind of spunky. It's easy for her to move around, to like fight, to kick. She doesn't really have to worry about all the weight of the clothes on her because her skirt is a tulle fabric. She's wearing these like really cool boots that I hope that I can make one day for myself. And again, for all these characters, I wanted them to have some sort of Vietnamese representation to them. So for her, I gave her these like jade arm cuffs, kind of similar to like, you know, the jade bracelets that you would get growing up. I really like Theen because she's a very extroverted person. She's always kind of like performing too, and she likes to have an audience there with her. And because Ngok is more of a quiet character and kind of would rather listen than speak, Theen is always doing a lot of funny stuff so that Ngok can laugh. And I think they're just like probably the cutest duo out of the Blush Scouts. If I had to relate Theen to characters that people would know, I would relate them to Mantis and Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy, but also Sailor Jupiter from Sailor Moon. And the reason for that is because I feel like Theen is a very silly character. She is the comic relief, kind of similar to how Mantis and Drax are in the Guardians of the Galaxy, but she has that like athleticism and like the willingness and spirit to fight, kind of like Sailor Jupiter and Sailor Moon. And so if you kind of just like combined all those characters together, I feel like you would get Theen. Let's talk about Ngok from the Blush Scouts. In Vietnamese, Ngok means sweet, and it suits her well because she is such a sweetie pie. Ngok is based off of the mangosteen fruit. Ngok's birthday is June 4th, and she's a Gemini. So out of the Blush Scouts, Ngok is the quietest and the shyest of the group. She loves her friends dearly, but I think she's one of those characters that would rather listen than speak. She's kind of always just in the group, and she's always making sure everybody is being listened to and that nobody else is being ignored. She's always hanging out with Theen because she doesn't like the spotlight on her. She would rather go with somebody and let them shine and let them be the center of attention because she doesn't want to be in the center of attention. She doesn't want to be in the spotlight. She would rather be around people and laugh at their jokes and just, you know, be there for people. Even though Ngok is very shy and quiet, I think her outfits speak volumes. She has a big love of fashion and she would rather let her outfits speak for her. For Ngok's outfit, this one was a really complicated one for me to make. For Ngok, I wanted her to have a very elevated and different ao dai. So she's wearing long silk pants, kind of like the ao dais that I would wear for that. And then for her, the top dress part, it's very like poofy. I wanted it kind of round and then have like white ruffles under it because I wanted it to kind of also resemble a mangosteen fruit. I wanted her outfit to have a lot of softness to it. So there's a lot of ruffles and frills under her dress too. And because I wanted her to be more on the cutesy side and everything, I have like these leaf clips on her hair. And then also the collar, it's also kind of inspired by the round leaves of the mangosteen fruit. If I had to relate Ngok to characters that people would know, I think I would relate her to Groot from Guardian of the Galaxies and Sailor Mercury from Sailor Moon. I think the Sailor Mercury one is very similar. They're both like intellectuals. They're both kind of quiet and a little more kept to themselves and everything. They're very loyal to their friends. But they are the more like quiet ones. But I wouldn't say that their quiet is a weakness. It's definitely a strength. Let's talk about Tung from the Blush Scouts. In Vietnamese, Tung means care and love. And I think she is a very lovable character. Tung's birthday is September 12th and she's a Virgo. She's based off the starfruit. And starfruits were one of those fruits growing up that like every time I saw it, I was like, oh my God, I have to have it. It's so cool. The way you cut it and everything, it's just like shaped as a star. Like I don't know. I was always like very shook as a kid every time I got to eat a star fruit. So Tung is kind of like the leader of the fruit girls. Tung is a girl's girl. She loves her friends so much. She'll always plan outings for her friends. She'll plan parties, girls' night in, picnics, like all of that kind of stuff. And she just cares very deeply for her friends. She's a very social girl and she'll always kind of plan all these events for her friends to make sure that they always feel very loved and cared for. She's super loyal. So Tung was actually the last character that I finished, and her character was actually really hard for me to come up with. I knew I wanted to do a starfruit, I just couldn't figure out her design, and I was struggling with it for a really long time. I had the rest of the girls done and I was doing all these renders of them, and every time I would get back to Tung, for some reason I would just get very stuck. In the end, I ended up really liking her design. So Tung's hair, I think, is the most unique out of all of the girls. She has twin tails, and at the end of the tail is a star. So it kind of shapes from like the spherical, cylindrical shape into a star shape, which I think is super unique, especially if you're looking at all the other ones who kind of just have a very rounded hair strand. Oh, and to make sure that she kind of did resemble a starfruit even more, I wanted to make sure that she had a lot of star designs on her. So her bow has a little star on it. And then I wanted her skirt to kind of just be pointy and kind of had the curves and the ridges of like the star fruit, without making the skirt a star. I tried making the skirt a star shape with just 5 creases, but it ended up kind of looking a little weird. So I kind of just opted for a regular skirt design. Her crown is very similar to something that I wore when I got married. I had a Vietnamese American wedding and I had that big rounded crown. And I just wanted to kind of give her something that looked like that because I thought it was really cute. If I had to relate Tung to a character that people would know, I would relate her to Gamora and Sailor Venus. So Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy and Sailor Venus from Sailor Moon. These characters are very independent, but they also have very strong leadership qualities in them. And I think Tung she has a lot of leadership abilities and she really knows how to lead the team to success. So what are the plans for the Blush Scouts? I wanted to talk about currently what I have going on and then where I would want to see the Blush Scouts in 1 year and then 5 years. So right now for the Blush Scouts, I'm currently working on some merch and they're very like small things. There's stickers, keychains. I'm also making hats because I really love to wear hats and everything. And the design that I have right now is really cute. Everything is still in the works, but I'm really excited to kind of share more information and show more things for you guys when it comes. I'm also working on a comic. So my plan for the comic is to release it for everybody to read free digitally, but I do want to print out physical copies for people to buy, especially if you're like really interested in the Blush Scouts, if you grow to love them as much as I do. I just think it'd be really cool to actually have a physical copy of the comics because I collect so much manga, I collect so many books and everything, and I think just having a physical copy would just be a really cool, tangible way to have the Blush Scouts in my house. I have a YouTube animation that kind of shows the Blush Scouts and how they got into this world. I will be making more animations and I'm so excited to share all of these animations with everybody. So right now I have 3 chapters in my comic and I think it does a really good job in telling the story of how the Blush Scouts got to where they are and how they became the Blush Scouts and everything. But I do want to create more comics and do more storytelling. For future comics, I plan on making a lot of really small and cute slice of life panels where Diho shows the world to the rest of the girls and the girls show Diho what they're capable of. I really wanted to show Diho showing the girls what it is to be human and how special it is to be human. In a year, I would like to see the Blush Scouts more established. I would like to have at least 10,000 people maybe know who the Blush Scouts are and also relate to a character. I think with a lot of big IPs like Sanrio, for example, it's crazy to see how many people relate to these characters and be like, oh, like I love Cinnamoroll, I love My Melody, I love Kuromi. And I want to be able to create characters that people are also like, oh my god, like I love Theen, like I love Tung, I love Cam, like I love these girls because they're just so me and everything. In a year, I would like to have at least 5 animations out on my YouTube, aside from the first one that I already made. In 5 years, I would like to see the Blush Scouts have their own collaboration with bigger IPs. For example, I think it would be cool to have a collaboration with a makeup company because they are the Blush Scouts. So it would be cool if there was like a line of blush for the Blush Scouts. I think merch company like Mad Happy, for example, they have such a cute Mad Happy and Friends line, and I think like pairing up my characters with other IP characters would also be so cute. I think another funny one would be Godzilla. Imagine Godzilla going to Earth and the Blush Scouts are there to like fight him. I think that would be really funny and really cool. Thank you guys so much for watching my YouTube video, and I'm so excited and so happy that you guys got this far. If you guys want to follow the Blush Scouts journey more, please follow the Patreon, the YouTube, the Instagram. I'm going to be posting so much stuff on there, and I'm so excited to hear your guys' thoughts and even your guys' ideas on where you would want to see the Blush Scouts. Thank you, and see you on the next one.